Welcome to Daily Book Dive. In this episode, we'll be diving into Psychology of Price. This book is approximately 256 pages, and in the next 25 minutes, I'll walk you through the essence of it, how companies can understand the psychology of consumers and competitors to develop clever pricing strategies and achieve higher profits. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below to stay updated and support Daily Book Dive. If you frequently shop at malls or online, you might notice that discounted items often end in 9, such as $199 for a pair of pants, $19 for a pair of socks, or $2.99 for a cabbage. Why do retailers prefer prices ending in 9? There is actually a psychological basis behind this. Psychological studies show that our brains group prices for easier decision-making. For example, a $199 item is automatically categorized by consumers into the 100 and something price range, but a $201 item falls into the 200 and something category. Although the difference is only $2 to consumers, it feels like over $100. Is there scientific evidence for this? Robert Schindler, a professor at the University of Rochester Business School, conducted an experiment to support this conclusion. He asked people to compare products priced at £20 and £25. The experiment found that people perceived little value difference between these two products, both falling into the 20-something pounds group. However, when the prices dropped by a penny to £19.99 and £24.99, people perceived a significant difference. The £19.99 product was grouped into the 10-something pounds category, making it much more appealing. Therefore, products priced at £19.99 sell much better than those priced at £24.99. In business activities, pricing is a crucial skill, closely related to consumer psychology. Psychology of Price provides a comprehensive 360-degree analysis of the strategies behind pricing in business. The author focuses significantly on the impact of psychology on consumer behavior. The most unique aspect of this book is that it uses a story to weave together the key points. The author has created a fictional new product called the chocolate teapot. This teapot looks like it's made of chocolate, and when you put tea leaves in it, the brewed tea has a chocolate flavor because there is a layer of chocolate inside that melts into the tea. This chocolate teapot serves as the main thread throughout the book. At the beginning of each chapter, the author explains how this product is priced, how the company understands consumer needs, and how it deals with competitors. But the author doesn't stop at storytelling. Real-life examples and practical methods are also provided, allowing readers to apply these insights directly to their businesses. The core value of this book is that it helps us understand pricing in a new way. The author presents many viewpoints that challenge conventional economic wisdom, combining economics and psychology to introduce some new concepts of cognitive economics. For example, people have their strategies to meet their needs, which will be detailed at the end. The author believes that pricing a product is not just about adding cost and profit, as this perspective overlooks consumer needs. Instead, the author advocates for pricing based on the value the product brings to consumers and presents common pricing techniques in business, such as the decoy effect, bundling, and free offers, explaining the psychological principles behind these techniques. Finally, the author addresses how companies can respond to competitors in the psychology of price. The author of this book, Lee Caldwell, is the founder of Inon, a top pricing consultancy in the UK. Unlike ordinary consultancy firms, Inon rarely hires employees with a traditional finance background. Instead, they gather many psychologists and economists. The author himself is one of the leading researchers in the field of behavioral economics, and his academic background in psychology, economics, and behavioral economics lays a solid theoretical foundation for this book. In addition to his diverse theoretical background, the author has rich practical experience. He has developed pricing strategies and provided marketing advice for government agencies and world-renowned companies such as the UK Treasury, the BBC, London Electric Company, and Grant's Whisky. Having introduced the book and its author, let's dive into the detailed content. First, we need to understand what pricing means. Why isn't pricing just about adding cost and profit? Why should it also consider the value it brings to consumers? Then we'll look at common pricing techniques from a consumer psychology perspective. Finally, the author tells us how companies should handle price wars with competitors in the psychology of price. Part 1. Let's start with the first key point. What is the meaning of pricing? What are the differences between pricing from a business perspective and pricing from a consumer perspective? The author believes that pricing is not simply adding cost and profit. It requires positioning the product first and then pricing based on the different values it brings to consumers. What does this mean? In the past, we might have simply thought that if it costs $10 to produce a chocolate teapot and the company wants a profit of $5, then pricing it at $15 is reasonable. This approach acknowledges the role of cost in pricing but overlooks the consumer's perspective. From a consumer perspective, pricing requires positioning the product and then pricing based on the different values it brings to consumers. Why is positioning necessary? Because it determines the consumer's price expectation. If positioned in a higher price range, it can achieve greater profits. Using the chocolate teapot as an example, if you place it in a supermarket alongside regular drinks like Coca-Cola or Pepsi, consumers' price expectations might be around $2, the price of a soda. But if you place it in a cafe, consumers might expect to pay around $4, the price of an Americano. Why does the same product generate such a significant price difference depending on its placement? The psychological explanation is that consumers don't know how much a new product is worth. They determine how much they're willing to pay for a product by referencing familiar product prices. For instance, if a new bottle of wine is served in a beer mug, consumers will reference the price of beer. But if it's served in a wine glass, they'll reference the price of wine. So, when pricing a new product, the company must first determine its positioning and identify the competing products. By establishing this connection, companies can influence consumers' price expectations for the new product. How do you find your competitors? The author suggests identifying which consumer needs the product satisfies and then thinking about which similar products also meet these needs. These similar products are the company's competitors. For example, if a company produces a chocolate teapot that satisfies the need for a sweet taste, they should consider what other products on the market meet this need. Common sense tells us that consumers can satisfy their sweet cravings with candy, juice, or dessert. Here, candy, juice, and dessert are the company's competitors. If the chocolate teapot satisfies the need for social interaction through drinking, then its competitors are products like coffee, alcohol, or even movie tickets. Once the competitors are identified, the company can price its product. If the chocolate teapot satisfies the need for a sweet taste, its price should be compared to products like candy, juice, and desserts. If it satisfies the need for social interaction, its price should be compared to products like a cup of coffee, a drink, or a movie ticket. Ultimately, the company decides to position the chocolate teapot to satisfy the need for social interaction, pricing it at £3. The company places it next to a 3.5 pounds cappuccino, making consumers more likely to try the new chocolate teapot. Sales data over the next few months showed that the chocolate teapot sold well in cafes, and as its popularity grew among consumers, it paved the way for sales in supermarkets and other channels, significantly boosting sales. Clearly, finding the right positioning is crucial for new product launches. From the chocolate teapot case, we see that pricing based on the different values it brings to consumers considers consumer psychology. Therefore, any new product must first recognize the importance of positioning, then analyze consumer needs and find similar products that meet these needs. If a connection can be established with higher-priced similar products, the new product can achieve a higher price and greater profits. We have now redefined pricing. The author believes that pricing cannot be solely considered from the company's perspective by simply adding cost and profit. Instead, it must be considered from the consumer's perspective, pricing based on the different values it brings to consumers. Companies must identify the core value of their products and find similar products that meet the same value, then price according to these similar products. The underlying consumer psychology is that when faced with a new product, consumers do not know how much it is worth. In this situation, consumers will use familiar products to decide their payment range. Therefore, companies can use this consumer psychology to precisely position their products' competitors and determine the price range. Part 2. After redefining the basic concept of pricing, we understand that pricing is not just about considering the company's cost and profit, but also the complex psychology of consumers. Next, let's discuss the second key point of this book: 3 pricing techniques from a consumer psychology perspective: decoy pricing, bundling, and free offers, and how they are used in practice. 1. Decoy pricing. Decoy pricing involves using a less attractive product as a decoy to entice consumers to make a quick decision and buy another product. Example: a weekly magazine publisher offers 2 subscription options: £120 per year for the print edition and £75 per year for the digital edition. The publisher wants to sell more print editions because print magazines generate more advertising revenue, but they cannot ignore the digital edition because some subscribers prefer the cheaper option. How can the publisher guide users to buy more print editions? They use decoy pricing to direct consumers' attention to the print edition, significantly increasing its sales. How? By introducing a third option, a monthly print edition priced at £135 per year. Compared to the £120 per year weekly print edition, the monthly edition is £15 more expensive. The publisher knows most users do not want to wait a month for a magazine and pay extra. Despite being the worst option, adding this decoy increased the likelihood of users subscribing to the £120 per year weekly print edition by 10%. The psychological explanation is that consumers find it hard to choose between products with different attributes, but can easily choose among clearly different products of the same kind. In this case, consumers find it difficult to decide between the print and digital editions due to their different attributes. However, once the more expensive and slower monthly print edition is introduced, it becomes easy for consumers to see that it is a worse choice. Thus, they quickly discard the monthly option and subscribe to the weekly print edition. What about the digital edition? Consumers have forgotten about it because their attention has shifted to the print editions. This is the power of the decoy. The third option acts as a common decoy used by businesses. From a behavioral economics perspective, decoy pricing also has scientific support. Nobel Prize-winning economist Daniel Kahneman proposed the principle of reference dependence. Most people judge gains and losses not by absolute differences, but by reference points. For instance, if you score 90 on a test and your neighbor scores 98, you may feel inadequate despite the small difference. In pricing, businesses often set up an unreasonable reference product to utilize this principle. 2. Bundling. Bundling means combining multiple products into a package to reduce the price sensitivity of individual products, making consumers feel they get more value at a lower price. Example: mobile phone plans are typical examples of bundling. Telecom operators increase their competitiveness by offering various plan combinations. For example, a $19 monthly plan includes 300 texts, 300 minutes of domestic calls, and 1 gigabyte of data. A $38 monthly plan includes 500 texts, 500 minutes of domestic calls, and 3 gigabytes of data. These complex combinations confuse consumers, making it difficult to compare different plans. Bundling allows telecom operators to control pricing. If consumers find a plan that meets their needs, they will consider whether the plan is cost-effective rather than questioning if it is the ideal plan. Consumers' process of evaluating plans is called satisficing, a term coined by Nobel Prize-winning economist Herbert Simon, combining satisfactory and sufficient. It means that consumers persuade themselves that a product meets all their needs, feeling satisfied. Businesses use this consumer behavior characteristic in pricing. Bundling benefits businesses by differentiating their products from competitors, avoiding price wars, and making it hard for consumers to calculate the actual cost, giving businesses more pricing power. 3. Free offers. Free offers differ significantly from decoy pricing and bundling. When consumers pay, they must make trade-offs and consider how much to pay for a product and if it's worth it. But if the product is free, consumers switch to a decision-free mindset and their psychology changes. Free offers convey the subconscious message, "You can benefit from this," without considering the downsides. You might think offering free products would cause businesses to lose money. But businesses never make a loss. Free offers are a pricing technique. In reality, free products attract more paying customers. There are two main types of free offers: partially free and time-limited free. Partially free. Partially free means buying product A comes with a free product B. Why is this effective? Because many consumer decisions are not singular. Example: when buying a $20 book online with a $5 shipping fee, the consumer must make two decisions. Is the book worth buying, and is the shipping fee worth paying? Either decision can lead to transaction failure, causing customer loss and reduced sales for businesses. Therefore, businesses should minimize consumer decision points. To counter this, many online bookstores offer free shipping for members or for orders over a certain amount. Removing one decision point and adding a free component to the product effectively increases consumer purchases. When Amazon first entered the French market, it charged a 1 franc shipping fee for every order, without offering any free services. This impacted Amazon's revenue in France. However, after introducing free shipping, sales increased significantly. The partially free method reduces customer loss and greatly promotes the sale of corresponding paid products. Time-limited free. Time-limited free means free trials for a certain period. If the consumer likes the product, they can purchase it. If not, they can return it without any conditions. This method is useful for new products as consumers find it hard to trust new products. Free trials reduce the risk for consumers, promoting new product sales. Example: a consumer is interested in a newly launched air conditioner from an unknown brand. They like its appearance, but are unsure about its performance. The business offers a 1-month free trial. This pricing strategy significantly increases consumer trust in the product. After a month, the consumer gets used to the product. Even if there are minor flaws, they are likely to buy it if it doesn't affect usability. Why? Behavioral economist Richard Thaler proposed the endowment effect, where owning an item makes a person value it more. In marketing, this is known as the puppy effect. If a puppy stays at your home for 10 days or 2 weeks, it becomes hard to part with it. Businesses use this consumer behavior in pricing, offering 30-day free trials for software, half-month free use of mobile phones, etc., significantly boosting product sales and increasing business profits. That concludes the 3 main pricing strategies from this book. To summarize, we discussed the decoy effect, where introducing a third option, C, among A and B choices makes consumers more likely to choose B. This strategy is common because consumers struggle to compare different attributes and will prefer clearly different products of the same kind. Next, we covered bundling, where combining multiple products increases perceived value and reduces price sensitivity for individual products. Finally, we explored free offers, divided into partially free and time-limited free, and learned how the fear of losing owned items boosts product usage and sales. Part 3. After redefining pricing and exploring common pricing techniques, let's discuss the third major topic of this book: how to proactively respond to competitors' pricing strategies. The author offers two methods: offensive and defensive strategies. First, let's understand why responding to competitors is a separate discussion. If pricing is a game, as the book title suggests, there are three main players: the company itself, consumers, and competitors. Winning over consumers without addressing competitors makes it challenging to succeed in this game. In business competition, companies often fall into price wars. A competitor prices at $10, your company prices at $8, the competitor drops to $6, and you drop to $5. In the end, your company wins the price war but may also face bankruptcy. Thus, competing solely by lowering prices is highly detrimental. How can companies avoid such unhealthy competition with effective pricing strategies? 1. Offensive stratégie. Offensive strategies involve identifying differences between your product and competitors' products during the positioning stage and using differentiated pricing to avoid direct comparisons. Example: shampoo companies are skilled at using differentiated pricing. Consumers see various types of shampoo in supermarkets: anti-dandruff, oil control, and special formulas for dyed hair. Different positioning leads to different prices, making it hard for consumers to directly compare your shampoo with competitors. This strategy helps companies maintain control over pricing in competition. 2. Defensive strategies. Defensive strategies involve avoiding direct confrontation with competitors and attracting more consumers through promotions, unconditional refunds, or simplified, low-cost product versions. Example: after the chocolate teapot sold well in cafes, a period of reduced sales occurred due to the promotion of a higher profit coffee. How did the company respond to this competition? They implemented 3 different strategies in 3 stores: promotional discounts, offering cookie vouchers, refund guarantees, full refund if the consumer disliked the chocolate teapot, and a simplified, cheaper version, smaller teapot with a stronger flavor. After a month, all 3 strategies boosted new product sales, increasing overall revenue. These methods subtly increased consumer trust in the new product, avoiding direct competition with rivals and boosting sales. Summary: having discussed methods to counter competitors, let's summarize the main points shared today. First, we redefine the concept of pricing. The author believes that pricing should not just be the sum of cost and profit, but should consider the value the product brings to consumers, identify competitors that offer similar value, and price accordingly. Next, we explored common pricing techniques from a consumer psychology perspective. We introduced the decoy effect, where adding a third option, C, among A and B choices makes consumers more likely to choose B. Then, we covered bundling, where combining multiple products increases perceived value and reduces price sensitivity for individual products. Finally, we discussed free offers, divided into partially free and time-limited free, to understand how the fear of losing owned items boosts product usage and sales. Finally, we shared strategies to handle competitors' pricing wars. The author offered offensive and defensive strategies. Differentiated pricing increases product uniqueness and reduces direct competition. Additionally, promotions, unconditional refunds, and simplified, low-cost product versions can subtly counter competitors' strategies. To conclude, let's briefly touch on the book's theoretical background. The author attempts to find a cognitive economics approach between economics and psychology, studying human needs and strategies and how people use strategies to meet their needs. Traditional economics assumes that people always make the most practical choices. The author finds this assumption overly simplistic. Psychology, on the other hand, focuses on how external stimuli affect behavior, emphasizing the impact of emotions and attention on behavior. Applying this to business, considering all psychological factors can be too complex. The author finds a middle ground called cognitive economics, which combines key elements of economics and psychology into a simple model to understand how consumers make purchasing decisions, helping businesses price more effectively and increase profits. Cognitive economics simplifies economic and psychological principles into two key points: needs and strategies. People use their strategies to meet their needs. For example, feeling hungry leads to eating, and feeling tired leads to sleeping. The most common strategy to meet needs is purchasing products. This book's narrative line involves identifying different values that products bring to consumers, analyzing the needs behind these values, and finding pricing strategies to achieve reasonable pricing. Understanding the author's theoretical background makes it easier to grasp why the book spends considerable time explaining consumer needs and pricing strategies. Understanding the theory behind pricing methods allows businesses to better grasp consumer and competitor psychology, develop smarter pricing strategies, and achieve higher profits. Thank you for joining us in this deep dive into psychology of price. For more insightful reviews and educational content, please subscribe to our channel and share this video with your friends. Congratulations, you just finished another book.